Imagine a league built by the people, for the people. A league dedicated to the economic development of your city. So the question becomes, how good are the 32 teams that play in the minor football league? Well, there's only one way to find out. You have to experience the MFL. The MFL.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Richard Myles Sr., founder, CEO, and chairman of the Minor Football League. Happy, I want to say Father's Day coming up, in case I don't see everybody. And June 10th Day, Teen Day, we want to definitely, we definitely want to mention that. The fact that we have a lot of times we forget about this. And, I'm one for always saying people of color, I wonder, do they understand the difference of being free, have freedom and being free? I say we have freedom, we're not free. So I think everybody needs to really pay attention to what's going on. These are some pretty rough times, and I'm excited about people getting out there, nonviolent protests. That's what I like about it. But today, particularly, I'm happy I got my old head coach here, Mr. Bob Headen, on the show. And I can't say enough about this gentleman. I was excited that you had down in Grambling, you have all the great coaches down there, Mr. Eddie Robinson and stuff. But to me, this gentleman that I'm getting ready to introduce, that was my Eddie Robinson, because I used to sneak up there and watch Cadoza play, and I used to always look through the fence and tell everybody, I said, one day everybody gonna be looking at me. And so Mr. Stover's down there, my gym teacher, introduced me to him and told me that he was coming. I couldn't believe it. That's how impressed and how much respect I have for them. So right now, I want to invite Mr. Bob Headen on. How you doing, Coach? Okay, can you hear me, Coach? Turn your oh yeah, can you hear me, Coach? Turn your video on. Turn the video on. Yeah, I need you to turn your video on, and we'll be able to see you, Coach. Okay. Well, right now, also I have Bethea on, Ronald Bethea. Also, hey, I can't say enough about this gentleman, so we get back to Mr. Headen, Coach Headen. We're gonna get back to Mr. Headen in a second. Bethea, how you doing there, sir?
I'm doing great. Miles, how you feeling today?
All right. I'm trying to make sure we get Mr. Coach Headen. He hooked up right. He needs to turn his audio on. But you here, I had you on the show several times because I think what you're doing is great. The fact that, and I'll tell you a little bit about this gentleman. He played on the championship team with some guys that played with me up Cardozo. I was the young one of the bunch. I was coming up. I was an underclassmate of Ronald Sewell and Tim Baylor. I missed Superman Sims. I was still in junior high when he was up there. But I'm very excited about these guys that played and had the opportunity to play. I just sneak up there in Morgan and watch them play. How you doing today, sir? And tell us about what we here for today. Of course, we still talking about that.
Well, the reason why I'm here, and I want to first thank you, Miles, for inviting me back on your platform. You have an very, very exciting show. My organization, the Black Sports Legends Foundation, we were founded to pay homage and tribute to Black sports legends locally and nationally. 1C3 organization. We are chartered here in Washington, D.C. And it's been almost 12 years ago, we came up with the idea of putting together a piece called DC Sports Legends Remembered. And when I started doing the research and putting together the names of all of the great players and legendary coaches that have come out of the District of Columbia, I was at awe. And we have pursued trying to get a documentary film done. And in doing so, we had to sort of curve back because we simply couldn't generate any interest. There has been some short films done. One is called Supreme Courts, that chronicles the history of blacks in basketball here in the district, but nothing has been done looking at the overall greatness of sports in the district. So what we did, we put together this piece, and we've been pursuing this for quite some time. So I wanted to thank you for giving me an opportunity to come back on your show and talk about this project that the Black Sports Legends Foundation has been trying to bring to fruition for quite some time.
Well, absolutely. I'm aboard with anything once it has to do with sports, and especially the legacy of DC ball players, because, we don't want his story. We want to tell our story. And I know no one can tell the story better than we can, because I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to play with these guys and had an opportunity to watch people like yourself. So when we first talked about it initially, I was excited for it because I don't think that DC players get the recognition they're supposed to. They always talk about other parts of the country, but we had some hell of a ball players to come out of DC, me being one of them. So when you talk about that, and I think that we tend to forget, because we got to also look at DC has been for a while now, the last 10 years, 15 years, a transit city. So a lot of people in position now of power and stuff, they're not from DC. So they don't understand the dynamics or the history of DC ball players. And we're talking about not only football, basketball, track, baseball. So these are some of the things that we need to make sure people are aware of. Because, like I say, we had a lot of guys that come out of Cardozo that went into the pros, and a lot of people did not know that in other parts of the city, but particular because I'm a clerk, I'm a Cardozo clerk. If you cut me, I probably bleed purple and white. But it was somewhere that I always wanted to go when I was young, although I lived down the street from Dunbar. But I'm particularly really excited about what you're doing in terms of this. So also, I want everybody to understand that the significance of getting these guys recognized, and the fact that as a whole, because I myself, as you know, I started the Cardozo All-Met Hall of Fame dinner, and that was something that I don't think right today no other school have. So I'm kind of proud of this, and this will be our 10th annual dinner. And I think we're almost getting Coach back in a minute. I'll click on to him in a minute. Hopefully we got him to understand he has to turn his video on. But I'm excited about what we're doing and what you're doing. We got Coach, Mr. Headen. You there, Coach? Hey, Coach, we see you, Coach. Coach Headen. We can hear you a little bit. Go ahead and talk, because we can see you and hear you. How you doing there, Coach? Can you see us, Coach? Huh? Okay, we can see you, Coach. All you got to do is talking to you. Okay, once you start talking, Coach, we'll pick up on it. But Bethea, go ahead while we waiting for the coach to talk. You go ahead and tell them why this is so significant, what you're doing, and the fact that you're trying to hide. Hey, here's a man did not grow up in D.C. So, Coach, you hear us, Coach? Because we can see you. We can see you. And now that you go ahead and talk. But go ahead and tell the people but why they're so important to you while waiting for the coach to see us and talk.
Well, the reason why it's so important is because of Coach Headen, of the Willie Stewarts of this world, who can tell.
Hello.
Here, Myles. Can you hear?
Okay, Coach. Okay, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah, I want to. Can you hear me? You can hear me? Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. We can hear you, and we can see you. Can you hear us?
You can see me, but
yeah. Oh, you gotta go ahead and talk.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you and see you, Coach. Go right ahead.
Go right ahead. We can hear you. You go ahead and start talking because we can hear you. Why he working on that? Go ahead, Bethea, and talk about why it's
right
so significant.
Well, one of the biggest things that I learned about Coach Headen was how great the coach he was through his players. Because when Eugene Superman Sims arrived at Morgan, Tim Bailey, and
I can hear you guys. But I can hear you.
Okay, can you see us? Because we can see you and hear you. So all you got to do is go ahead and talk, Coach. Go ahead, Bethea, until he starts.
As I was indicating, when these guys hit Morgan's campus, man, didn't too many freshmen come to Morgan back in the day and start as freshmen. But the kids that Coach Headen prepared were ready, and they came to Morgan, and they started as true freshmen. And that was like unheard of today. It's sort of like yesterday I had the privilege of being on a town hall meeting that the NFL had talking about Fritz Pollard. And after that documentary, which is an outstanding documentary, I recommend people go to NFL.com and
Myles, you're breaking up, Myles. You're breaking up. Even Bethea breaking up. Okay. I know you can see me, but you can't hear me.
We can hear you. We're hearing everything you're saying. You said we breaking up. We can hear you and we can see you.
I'm talking.
Okay. Well, you
talking, but you can't hear me.
Yeah, we hear you. Okay. Yours is kind of like.
I think it's the speed.
Well, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, it's the speed on his computer, Myles. That's what the issue is.
Yeah. So you just chime on there, Coach, while he's talking. Go ahead with that. And
but
we talk about that.
As I was saying, that they had a documentary on Fritz Pollard, who was the first African American. He was the Jackie Robinson of the NFL, and he played in 1920. Not only did he play, he became the first black head football coach in the NFL and the first black superstar in the NFL. But after that documentary, the panel that they had Smith, the gentleman who represents the NFL Players Association, Smith, and Bill Rhoden, who was a teammate of mine on that 1971 team with Superman Tim Bailey. And Bill Rhoden, as you may know, wrote the $40 million Slave, and he's published several other books, but that's one that basically put him on the map in the sports world. Right. And one of the things that was very exciting about that is to hear what they had to say.
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, what you said, Coach? Go ahead.
Yeah. One of the things that was very interesting to me was the fact that in doing so, talking about the legends of sports, but never, no one ever takes it and gives the credit to our high school coaches that send these players to these colleges and universities. And with Coach Headen, Willie Stewart, and the coaches of his era, they saved so many lives in this town. And I had the privilege of being in the DC public school system, working as a physical educationist teacher at the time when Coach Headen was at HD Woodson. And Everything that his players had told me about him, his character, and what he put into these young men, I had the opportunity to work at Woodson as a substitute and see firsthand. And Coach Headen put together not just a competent football coaching staff that cared about these athletes.
Well, anyway, for those who don't know, I'm Bob Headen. Okay.
Oh.
Now, I was trying to pick up on what you guys were saying. I started at Cadoza.
It's yours. His is delayed, so you go ahead.
Nah, it's the speed
of
his
speed
computer.
Yeah. So go ahead and finish what you were saying.
But as I indicated, I have nothing but respect for this gentleman because I know the lives the Coach Headen saved over the years.
And I being one of them, not cutting you off because the fact that, he was, as far as I'm concerned, and the players in D.C., that was our Eddie Robinson. And the fact that when my gym teacher had Mr. Headen come down to speak to me, man, I thought I was going in the NFL to see Mr. Headen coming there, and he might not have thought so. I'm just, and I asked him, and he was down to earth, very sincere, no nonsense. And I was almost scared to ask him something, but I said, Coach, I want to know when I get an opportunity to play. He said, son, if you could play, I'll sit my mother down. When he said that, I said, that's it. Because I used to hang with Cornelius Green and Glenn Womack and all of them that played for Dunbar, because I live right down the street from Dunbar. So Luther Banner didn't feel he had to recruit me because he know that they were going to get me. But after Mr. Headen talked to me, it was all over. But I have to point this out. And Mr. Headen, I want to say to him, thanks for saving my career, because I did not know as a freshman that I thought you go to school soon as September come and you go out for the football. Never knew that they were practicing in August, right? So when I found out we were getting ready to play spin gun, the guy saw Miles, y'all play spin gun today. I said, huh? He said, don't you play for Cadoza? I said, yeah. I run up to Cadoza on a Tuesday, I think. And Mr. Headen looked at me and said, where you been, knucklehead? I said, oh, my God. He said, where you been, knucklehead? I said, I don't know. He said, well, boy, you better get out there and say, because you cut and win on Thursday. So, man, Coach Boone, I don't know, something about him. And Boone, when they was calling the names out, Boone said, Richard Myles. Mr. Headen said, who do you call? He said, Richard Myles. He said, oh, no, not him. So you going back out there, Myles. I must have ran around the track faster than anybody else was running around the track, right? Because Mr. Edmund remembered me. That's what I was so happy about, the fact that he remembered me. Of all the guys, and I know he recruited so many guys wanting to play, he remembered me. So, hey, I just want to say to you, Coach, thank you, because I would not have had this career I had. And also, I was really, when he left, my junior year, I was so hurt, heartbroken. I said, well, Coach, what's going on? I said, well, I'm going to transfer. He said, no, Myles, you stay where you at, because it's going to take a couple of years for them to even get in. Right now, they're going to only be playing JV team. So he went over there, and we was heartbroken. He said, but you got a good coach, and Coach Nick. But I remember my senior year, because Woodson was beating up on all the JV teams, and they told him, said, we probably could beat Cadoza. And Mr. Headen said, you think so? We went over there to scrimmage to him and punished him. Mr. Headen, I said, Mr. Headen, what you got, Coach? He said, lay it on him, Myles. They started quitting him. Mr. Headen said, wait a minute, I thought you said you wanted to play him. You could beat him. They said, well, I got to go to work, Mr. Headen. He said, yeah. So I had to throw that in, Coach. I don't know if your audio ready yet, Coach. Can you hear us? Coach? Okay, but Mayo, tell us about this, what you're doing in terms of getting these players from the inner high, especially Cadoza, recognized with this art humanity program, the stuff you're doing. Because I've read your things. I mean, it was amazing.
Whose computer?
I hear you now, Coach. But go ahead, Mayo. Go ahead and finish telling us about that and what you're doing with that, sir.
Well, what we're simply doing, Myles, is trying to pay homage and honor to Coach Headen and the players, legendary players that's come out of the District of Columbia by putting together a app that will have the names and the history where our young people will be able to access that, because you got to meet these young people where they are right now, and everybody walking around with a computer, which is on the phone. And we wanted to make sure we be able to get the interviews from Coach Headen. Very few people know that Coach Headen mentored and trained Coach Joe Taylor, which Coach Taylor is in numerous halls of fame. But even more than that, Brian Leftwich right now is one of the rising stars in the NFL. He is a product of H.D. Woodson, but he was also mentored by Coach Headen. So, Coach, I just want to publicly thank you for what you've done with the work that you put in, because you don't want to give people their flowers standing over top of them. You want to give your flowers, Coach, while you're still here. So I want to thank you for the work you put in. And that's what my organization is about. We've been trying to do this not just here in the DC area, but locally and nationally, because our black high school coaches who coached back in the 60s and 70s and 80s during that period of time, they've never gotten their just due. And I know, because I was working in the DC public schools, and I saw the kind of conditions of the fields and things where we didn't have that AstroTurf back in the day. You look at the what DCIA right now, but we was the high back in the day. I'm telling you, it's a whole different ball game. But Coach Headen used to tell me while I was up, he said, man, soon as we out the door and folks don't look like us come through the door, we'll see a whole bunch of changes. And Coach Headen must have been a fortune teller, because we've lived to see
it. Yeah, well, also because as Mr. Headen knows, around that second or third game, the middle of Cardozo Field was the Dust Bowl, and when they used to run out of bounds, I used to tell them, "I don't know what you're running out of bounds for." Yes, sir. We can hear you now. Now we got you. Okay, Coach.
All right. Okay, now I can hear you guys.
Okay, I'll introduce you again. I just want everybody to know this is Coach Bob Headen, my hero. But we're talking about what we're doing. You don't really have to introduce yourself. Everybody know. But Bethea is talking about the fact how prepared Cardozo players was when they went to school. Because I know when I went out to Arizona State, this guy told me, Coach, he said, "Where you from?" I said, "DC." And he said, "Oh, you come a long way to sit on the bench." I said, "What?" So you know that attitude we got, right? You know, Coach. So he said that, well, you going my buddy, he made All-America. I said, "I thought we all was Americans here." I said, "Your boy gonna sit down, because I ain't come all the way out here for nothing." You know, everybody was scared of Frank Kush because they say, yeah. I said, "Well, you must not. I'm from DC. All our coaches was rough, and if you couldn't take it, you couldn't play in DC." So, Coach Headen, you know, let us hear from you. You know, we
okay,
definitely.
Well, let me say that I really didn't start off at Cardozo. I started off at Armstrong, and as a player and a coach. But everybody in my family went to Cardozo. And my junior year at Armstrong, they made a ruling that if you didn't have a master's degree, if you wasn't in physical education, you couldn't coach. So therefore, Myles was the coach. He may have been some kin to you.
There you go. Everybody talking about Lil Myles. Say that to your people. I said, "Oh man,
he's track coach." And
Lil Myles, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, he was a track coach, and next year he said, "Look here, I'm not gonna let you guys play." I said, "What? What you mean we're not gonna play?" Because see what happened, we was running the plays that McIntyre had. So it was about 7 of us. We decided to transfer it because Frank Bowl and Sal Hall, they came to my house and say, "You don't need to go to Western. because you know, you got the white kids over there, and I said, well, I don't want to go to school with no white kids. I'm going to Cadoza. So that's how I ended up going to Cadoza. About 7 of us transferred from Armstrong to Cadoza. And after being at Cadoza for so many years, well, after being up there, after I left Cadoza, I went to St. Aug in Raleigh, North Carolina as a football player. In fact, I was quarterback. And after I got down there, they made me a running back. So I became a running back. And at that time, you had to play defense and offense. So I played linebacker, and I also played running back. And by the time I became a junior, I was playing strong safety. And when I got drafted with Denver, that's what I was, a strong safety. And then after leaving Denver, after a year, and I got cut the next year, I came home. I was working in the post office, and this guy said, "Hey, man, you need to go up Cadoza and talk to them people." I said, "Man, I don't want to be no coach. You got to be crazy." I said, "I'm making $30 a week, making big money. I don't need to be going to be no teacher." So anyway, the guy, he kept talking to me, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna go talk. Frank Bolden and all of them, they came to my house, told my mother, say, "Look, you're gonna have to walk all the way over to Western." But they were right, because we ain't had no money for get on no bus. You know what I'm saying? So it was easy for me to walk to Cadoza. So I lived right there by the skating rink. And I had to cut through the Marine Hill Park, down Euclid Street. I'm right there at Cadoza. So I stayed there for 1 year. And after being at Cadoza as a teacher and a coach to 1971, I think it was, yeah, from 74 to 71. And I got in this program called Dare to Be Great. I made more money in 1 month than I did as a whole year as a school teacher. I said, "I'm gone." They couldn't believe it. They said, "You gonna leave this good job?" I said, "Man, I'm gonna make some money." So I left. That's why everybody didn't know why I left Cadoza, you know, then, because I was in this program. And I went from DC to Little Rock, Arkansas. So you can imagine how that was. Well, anyway, I was in this program, and we had some couples from California, New Jersey, white and black, you know. So we was at the swimming pool one day, and I pushed this white girl in the water because we was playing, and some white guy saw it. The next 15 minutes, there was the police. Oh man. You got two white people, about 8 blacks. And the first thing they did was lock up all the blacks, just like they're doing now. They locked us up, and we put us in the jail. And I was never so scared in my life, Miles. I've never was afraid of anybody, you know. But anyway, they were bringing prisoners from Georgia, going through Little Rock, going somewhere else, you know. So they had a lot about a young boy. So they put us in a cell and by ourselves. But anyway, they say we're not gonna mess with them because they mafia guys. I said, "Mafia guys?" They couldn't believe it. The reason why they thought we were mafia, because we had Spanish guys with us, white guys with us, and we all had neckties. We were sharp. We were sharp when we went to court. You understand? I was driving a big Cadillac at that time, you know. So they thought that we was big time. So anyway, we went to court, and the judge couldn't understand why they were locking us up. So they said, "Get the hell out of here." And we came home. And that's when I came back to Cadoza. came back to DC, and I tried to get a job at Cadoza. They wouldn't hire me at Cadoza. So I called Vincent Reed. And I said, "Look, man, I'm trying to get back in the school system. They won't let me in, you know." He said, "Where you trying to go?" I said, "I want to go over to the new school, Woodson." He said, "Okay." So he called Nappy Lewis, and I went over there at that particular time. His teachers was on a strike. And I said, "I'm going anyway." So I went over there, and the guy said, "Hey, man, you can't come in here." Well, a young lady by the name of Anna Jefferson, she ended up being our principal, but at that time, she was a phys ed teacher. She said, "Y'all don't know him. Y'all better not mess with him. Let him go." So anyway, my reputation got me into the school. And Nappy Lewis said, "Look, don't ask me for no money, and I'm not going to ask you for nothing. You're going to be the athletic director and the football coach." I said, "Okay, no problem." So I had to make some money. My first dance with Chuck Brown at H.D. Woodson. And they said, "How you know him?" I said, "Well, I was in the Infernos. We used to book him all the time for our dances. That's why I knew Chuck Brown." And then we were the only school having dances on Friday. and we made plenty of money. Now, make a long story short with the guys, when time for me to go to recruit, I remember what they did to me. You know, people would come around my house and talk and talk and talk. So I said, well, I'm going to do the same thing. So somebody would tell me where a guy was. He might be a good player. I'll go up there and talk to him. And I'll tell the guy, tell the mother, say, Woodson as far as your front door. What you mean by that? I said, because I'm going to pick him up and I'm going to drop him off. You going to do what? You going to pick him up and drop him off? I said, that's right. See, that's what they did to me. So that's how I started doing it. And I bought me a van instead of a Cadillac.
Myles, one thing I want to say, how important the role that Coach Headen played was Coach Headen and his players, a lot of his top players went to historically Black colleges and universities. And a lot of people don't understand how important that high school coach is in guiding those young men to where they end up going to school. And people say, well, want to know, well, why are all the top players going to historically white colleges? Well, if you begin to look at it very closely around the country, we have very few Black head coaches. If you get out, high school coaches, if you get outside the District of Columbia, you will find that you don't get that many Black African-American head high school coaches. And that is a key component. I was just reading an article from Ed Hill talking about the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, because it's on his deathbed right now, because they just lost North Carolina A&T, just lost Florida A&M, went to SWAC, Savannah State went back in the SIAC, Winston-Salem went back to the CIAA, and they having a problem because you need at least 7 teams that's been in the conference for 8 years to keep their Division I status. Now, Hampton jumped out and went to the Southern Conference with North Carolina A&T. And nobody's talking about this, but one of the key factors when people get to talking about why did the Black players go to historically white colleges, it comes right back to those high school coaches. And if we don't have the Bob Heddens and the Willie Stewarts of this world to say to the young man, hey, I care more about you as a human being than I do just you as a player. I'm going to send you somewhere where I know somebody going to put their foot where the sun don't shine and make sure you go to class. That's and right. I'm going to tell you, that's what it was at Morgan. Banks didn't play. So all them players, every one of the players that Coach Headen sent to Morgan, these guys went to class, except Big Go-Go Sewell. We had to go get Big Sewell out the Go-Go, but when it came time for him to ball on that field, he balled out. So without question, we owe a great amount of gratitude to Coach Head and all those coaches of his era. Coach, how about naming some of them coaches that was coaching in the high at your time?
Well, during that time it was Willie Stewart, it was Fleming up at Wilson, it was
Roosevelt,
Roosevelt, and the thing about it, Luther Banner. I used to go to sleep at night thinking about how I'm going to be done by, because they had a good program. But one thing I wanted to say about me picking those guys going to school. See, when I recruited you, I went in your house. I knew how you lived. If your father was a drunk, or you didn't have no money, no food, if you sleep with 5, 6 people in the house, then I knew how you did that. Now also look at what kind of music you listen to. Now, if you like country western music, I can send you out to one of them white schools. But if you like soul music, you going to the Black school. You understand? And all those kids, I'm proud to say, 90% of my kids graduated from college, and that was a must, And once one graduated, the next one talked to that person. I used to have guys who were in college. If you was coming in as a freshman, didn't care where you went to school, that was your buddy, and you got to talk to him for 1 year. You understand? Why he's in college, let him know what college is all about. Because a lot of our kids didn't know about no college. Our parents didn't go to college, and they couldn't afford to. But that was one of the reasons why I stayed in it for such a long time. People don't know. I had 21 championships in girls basketball. I got girls now make 3 times more money than I do.
And the great thing about it, Coach, didn't mean to cut you off. the camaraderie between a coach and player. Because when I started coaching, and I had ball players, and I was down there by Dunbar, and they thought they gonna get the girls. I called Coach Headen. I said, Miss Headen, you gotta come look at the girl, Carlita. Remember, Coach? Coach said, but they got it. Everybody thinking, I said, no, you're not. And we won the championship back to back. But taking back just blow ways, it's true what you said, because I know when I got there in the 10th grade, Mr. Headen had me scared to death. We used to have to take sheets around to the teachers, make sure not only you was passing, but your conduct too. You know, I said, oh man, I'm gonna get cut from the team. That's right. I had to rock such a straight line up there because I felt that I had an opportunity to play with Giant Tim Bell and all them guys, man, them McKim, Super Gooden and all them. I mean, man, I played with some bad boys, man. And the fact that I was on that team, you had a lot of ball players in that school was scared to come out. I'm gonna wait till next year. I say, what? Next year, man. And like I say, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I owe Mr. Headen so much as a coach, because I'm telling you, he instilled a lot of things in me right today. I was so mad with him one day when he was in the bathroom gambling. I'm a 10th grade. I don't know. I'm standing there watching. Mr. Headen breaking the door, said, what y'all doing in picking? I said, Miles, you know better than that. Come and get your jersey Friday because you ain't playing. I said, oh, Coach, I wasn't even there. And you said, you should have been playing. So now I got to go pretend I'm hurt. So because I ain't going to suit up Friday. Everybody said, what's wrong, Miles? I said, I hurt my knee, man. I'm not going to suit up this week. You know, it's so much pressure on you now. You got to lie to people because I was caught. But if I had my buddy in class like I was supposed to, it wouldn't have never happened. But that kind of thing back then, coach was more than just a coach. Father, my mother and father was in the home, but Mr. Headen, and then I had so much respect for him, man. You know, I ain't had time to act like a knucklehead. And it's something he said to us my 10th grade year. I remember after practice was over and everybody getting a circle, he said, man, a lot of y'all lucky because a lot of people can't do what y'all doing. I don't know if you remember that, Coach. You used to say that. He said, so you better remember this, where you go to college or what?
Let me share a secret, Miles. When Coach Headen was at HD and Willie Stewart was over at Anacostia, I used to sub, because I subbed, so I'd be at different schools. So I could see the camaraderie that was built in those players. When them guys, the police, any of them guys got in trouble, do you know who the mamas called first?
Mm-hmm. I know, because they used to call me when I was coaching. I'd go get him out of jail.
They called Coach Headen. Coach Headen would call one of his assistant coaches and say, man, you go down there, that cell block, because they ain't going to let him go until you get there. Mm-hmm. So this is what we lost all over the country, because it was the same way in my little small town where I played in South Carolina at Gordon High School. We had one of the top programs in the country. My high school coach, Coach Paul Glenn, he became one of the top officials in the CIAA and the MEAC, and he handpicked, when he left my hometown in '67, he went down to Union, and he handpicked the coach from Morris College. Coach Daniels came in, and we didn't miss a beat. We took the team, we won the state championship. But the story is that linkage between those black high schools and those black coaches at those HBCUs were close. And when unfortunately, when Ron Sewell passed, I could see the camaraderie at that funeral because those guys came together. And that's something I will always cherish and remember. And as the city has changed up and become gentrified, you can see the difference now, because people and these coaches, they wasn't gonna cake plate you. They weren't gonna tell you what you wanted to hear. They were gonna put their foot where the sun shine and say, "Can go." I seen Coach Headen do it. I seen him grab him up around there in Colorado. Yeah. Son, you getting ready to throw your whole life away.
Ask Miles.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, knucklehead, come here. Yeah. Great man, Coach. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, but that's what I say. So when I got to the white school up there at Arizona State, and the people talking about how hard Frank Kush was, I looked at the guy. I'm like, what? I said, you ain't from DC because the coaches down there ain't play. Y'all, I don't know what kind of school, what coaches y'all had. And y'all think this guy rough because he yelled at them. They used to get upset. I'm like, what? Man, Mr. Headen will say something to you. He'll say everything but the blessed Virgin Mary to you, right? And you better not say nothing back, man.
Myles, let me tell you something. When Coach Headen was out at 8, I worked there as an outreach counselor in the summer. And the fire department, the police wouldn't even go on 58th Street. Coach Headen started a night basketball league out there at HD Woodson at night. And that cut out all that madness that was going on, man, because it was wild up there on 58th and 57th Street back in the day.
That's right.
And that night basketball league that Coach Headen started, man, all of them problems they had out there with them kids shooting and killing each other. And that's what we don't have today. People want to know what's happening. If you don't have the Coach Headens and Willie Stewarts and them coaches that was in his era, you're gonna have a problem in that. And Coach Headen was like a mentor to me. So I really appreciate what he's done and the work he's put in. It's just a shame because I was working at Walmart and Coach Headen came in the store one day, and I said, "Hey man, that's Coach Headen, Coach Headen." And people were looking at me like, who is this man talking about? They used to call me Mr. Ronald because I'm running the men department. I said, and I told him, I said, man, that's Coach Bob Headen. I said, do you know how many lives he done saved up in this town? So, Coach, I'm gonna give you your flowers while you can smell them.
I appreciate it.
Well, I have to say this. When as Coach Noah, I told him I'm going to start a Hall of Fame because I even then I felt Cadoza players did not get the recognition they deserve. So everybody used to get, oh man, you ain't nobody gonna come. How you gonna do it? I said the first person I'm gonna get is Coach Headen. That's what I told them. I said I know I got Mr. Headen, Tim Bell, and all of them. We had everybody said you ain't gonna get them. I got Skip Spell, all of them came. Then the coach. Everybody said, how you get them people? I say, because I got Mr. Headen. And all of them said, who? You inducted who? All of them came. And we have not missed a beat yet, have it, Coach? So,
that's
saying, but the question is, what he also want to ask you, why is it that because the players from the not going to the predominantly black schools? That's a question I think you want to ask Mr. Headen as well. Coach, why they rather sit on the bench 3 years at a white school as opposed to going to HBCU and play? Why is that, Coach?
Well, a lot of the guys now, the TV spoiled a lot of kids. See, because they figure they're gonna play on TV, so that's why they went to some of those schools. Like I said, very few of mine went who didn't play because I kind of geared them towards where they want to go. But I know they're gonna play at the black college, and the coaches I talked to, they wanted those guys, But anyway, that's what happened with our kids. And then, see, when I first started coaching at Cardoza, half of my staff was playing along with me. They were playing with the Virginia Cells at that particular time. So they already knew what to do.
Brother Luke, look, brother, let me call you back. I'm up on a sports show right now.
So you had that continuity right there, Coach. You had people that you
I'm all right, brother.
That you I had a lot of
camaraderie
stuff, right?
There's two people talking.
Luke. No, I'm talking to you, Coach. Go ahead.
Okay.
He's just on the phone talking to somebody else.
Hey, look.
We can hear you, Coach.
Let
Go
me
ahead,
call
Coach.
you right back. I'm up on this brother's sports show right now, but I saw your number. I wanted to take a second to let you know. I'll call you right back as soon as I go off the air.
Like that. And I think about it, I used to always go see them play on Saturday because all that game was on Fridays. And I would get in the car with a couple guys, especially Union and Virginia State, places like that. And I would take some of the kids down there and let them meet the coach. And you know what I mean? I said, hey, you can have an opportunity to go down there. That's the same thing. Now, with like Joe Taylor, when he was playing for me at Cadoza, this guy named Mutri came down Cadoza looking for players. And I said, I got a player for you. He said, who? I said, Joe Taylor. He said, who is Joe Taylor? I said, there's the kid right there, the running back. So anyway, Joe had good grades. He was a gentleman. In fact, Joe didn't want to play football. I tried to get his brother to play. His brother wouldn't play. But I talked Joe into playing, and Joe became an outstanding player. Plus, Joe has always been a gentleman from the hood, a gentleman for the hood. We had very few of them.
Robin Hood, huh?
Yeah. And anyway, Joe went up there to Eastern Illinois, Moultrie, and David Johnson went up there with him. Another kid went up there. Somebody else went up there with him. Anyway, Joe did an outstanding job. He came back to D.C. and during the summer, I said, Joe.
You fade off. Go ahead. You go ahead and talk, Coach. It went off. It'll get back on, though. So the same day.
Okay.
Go ahead, Coach. We got you, Coach. I'm listening.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What I was saying with coaching at that particular time, kids wasn't getting in school, But our avenue at H.D. Woodson and Cardozo, we made sure that we went, because I made every time we went somewhere, I tried to find, because we even took the guys to the jail up in Pennsylvania. We played up there. And I got 2 guys out of jail that came to H.D. Woodson after they got out. Because they lived in Maryland, and I said, how y'all get way up here? They say, well, they put us up here so we can't go nowhere. So I said, well, y'all got any relatives in D.C.? And they had relatives in D.C. and they ended up playing at Woodson. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but they both have been outstanding guys, at H.D. Woodson. But one thing about it, as a high school coach, I really enjoyed it, and watch to see all these guys and girls who have graduated and became good citizens. They're like Byron. You take somebody like Byron. Byron did not want to play as a wide receiver. I mean, as a quarterback. What happened was some twins was at Evans Junior High School, and I was recruiting the twins. They said, we coming to Woodson. And Byron, little skinny dude, he said, can I come too? I said, what you play? He said, quarterback. I said, yo, all right, come on down. So anyway, he was on the JV team, and I was standing in the middle of the field, and I looked down there, and I saw him catch this ball and threw it back. I said, who threw that ball? They said, Byron. I said, tell him to do the same thing. Tell him don't run it back, throw it back. He threw it back. I said, come here, son. I need to talk to you. I said, I need to be a quarterback. Oh, no, I don't want to be no quarterback, coach. I'm going to be a wide receiver. I said, I don't want you to be my quarterback anyway. I got a quarterback. Yeah, I just want you to play with the JV. Okay. Well, Byron was my starting quarterback at the end of the year.
That just goes
to make a long story short, time for him to go to college, right? Mm-hmm. Well, he went to school in Virginia, right? And his head coach and I played together with the Virginia Sailors. That's how he got there.
Oh, okay.
And I said, Byron, this team throw the ball every down. He said, that's where I want to go. And he ended up going there, and he ended up starting everything. And in fact, he's coaching now. He was coaching, what's the boy name? What's the boy this game?
You talking about the new head coach? No, with
quarterback. The quarterback with Tampa now. But anyway,
you talking about Brady?
You talking about Brady?
Yeah,
Tom Brady, right? But with another guy who was ahead of Byron, played professional football too. And Byron went to, when he first got a job, this guy was the head coach, and Byron, I'm not the head coach, he was a quarterback, and Byron was just a coach. Now this guy was a starter when Byron was like a junior or something, a sophomore at the school he went to in West Virginia. But anyway, make a long story short, Byron is now the offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay. I talked to him yesterday. I said, Byron, you know what? You got a chance about 4 or 5 years, man. You can be a head coach. He said, nah, coach. I'm talking 2 years, man. I'm gonna be a head coach for 2 years. Said,
Coach, Coach Headen, I want to ask you a question.
I used to come up to Lincoln Heights. Before you could get in there. You had to have a pass to get through, and they up there shooting crap. They're doing everything, The police wouldn't even go up in there. I pull up in there. They said, "Oh, that's Coach Headen. They don't even pay him no money." And I go on right up in there. Guy said, "Man, how can you go up in them neighborhoods?" I said, "No, man."
That's right.
Some of those guys, I let them in free at the dance. You understand? And they were my recruiters too, and they used to keep guys out, getting guys out of trouble. I said, look, man, don't let that guy go with y'all. Now you can't go, man. Coach here say you can't go. And we just keep it like guys out there like that.
No question. No question. But Coach Headen, this charter school system, because I was in the system, and Willie Stewart told me, he said, man, that's the worst thing gonna happen to our athletic program in the high. How do you view this charter school system? I mean, they did an outstanding job over their friendship, but I think it sort of drained all the talent at a couple of schools in the city. It sort of hurt the public schools, didn't it?
Well, what happened is that they put the rules on the public schools and then put no rules on the charter schools. See, charter schools
get kids from anywhere.
Half the money from the district, and they get the other half from private industry, right? So therefore, they can go anywhere in the city. They come anywhere in the city, but they put handcuffs on us. We couldn't get them all the way in the city. So anyway, when it came with league started, I said, look, I'm not playing them. I'm telling you right now, I'm not gonna play nobody, no charter schools, and I didn't. And when I left, then they started playing them, you know. But they got a pretty good program over there. But what I'm saying is, they like the old days. They stopped by all of us from getting kids from all over, because I know Woodson used to get a lot of kids from Southwest, you know, and they stopped from getting the guys in Southwest. And then over there on Division Avenue and places like that, they put them charter schools in, and that's what happened to H.D. Woodson. Used to be 2,200 students at H.D. Woodson when I was there. They got 600 now.
Wow. Wow.
And I predict in 5 years, H.D. Woodson will be a charter school.
Wow. Well, so that's not saying much for Cardozo because of their program. The fact that I think I don't know if they had a ninth grade there at Cardozo when you were there, coach, but now they have one up at Cardozo. But it seemed like the coaching is bad. And now that they don't have Shaw anymore. But I just think that because when I was at Cardozo, we had so many students, you couldn't get down the hall. You remember coaching? So many kids, man, you might have about almost 40 kids in the class.
But one thing I'm faulted is with these guys now, with some of them, you know, we used to go to clinics. Willie Stewart, Fleming, and a couple other guys, we all get in a van and go to the clinic. So we all learn the same thing. We learn the same plays. So when we come back play each other, I've seen that play before, you understand? And we know how to defend it. So that made us tough, you understand? Because we know we was gonna run it. We was up in the quarterback receiver camp. I went up there because Luther Banner had
Canary Green.
Went to Ohio State.
Canary Green.
I said, man, where did you get that kid from? Oh, he been here all the time. I said, I sent him to a quarterback receiver camp up in New York. I said, is that right? Well, from that day on, all my quarterbacks went to, even Bobby. Bobby went up there too, up there. But anyway, they were teaching up there. So anyway, this coach was up there from George Mason College. And he said, Coach, I want to show you an offensive play where you don't have to, you just holler out and the guy's gonna run certain patterns. So I learned this offense. I said, damn, I had the guys in the car. There was 4 of us in the car. I said, I got to name this play so we can use it. Well, we call all these names. We got a halfway down there. I said, I know what it is. It's Gail. They said, what's that? I said, that's my wife's name. I guarantee you, anybody at Woodson who played wide receiver or quarterback, if you play Gail offense, they know exactly what to do. Because Fuller's still running right now.
Yeah.
See, all you have to do is say a certain word and say 2 words, and they know what to do. And we won a lot of games with that. But we learned. We went to clinics and stuff like that. And that's what happened. I didn't learn everything in the streets or playing myself, but we went to those clinics. And once we went to a clinic, I started talking to those guys. I ended up going to Ohio, Tennessee. Them coaches were inviting us. I remember one time we played, Byron was a junior, and we went up to Ohio to play Massillon. They were like number 2, 3 in the country. And they invited us up there and we played, and they won the game in the last few minutes. And because I told Bob, don't throw nothing deep. You understand? Now he went on through some deep. They intercepted the ball, returned it for a touchdown. But anyway, the coach called me up and said, "Man, we want you to come back." I said, "Man, I'm sorry, man, I can't come back. You know, we're public school. We ain't got no money, man. We broke. We can't come down there." He said, "What if I give you $5,000?" I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll let you know." I broke my neck the next day trying to call him up.
You know, hey,
he
Coach,
paid $5,000 just to see Byron play.
Hey, Coach, I want to, we're going to get ready to wrap up here. I want to thank you, Coach Headen, and for being on the show. You know, I've been trying to get the coach on a long time. And we're going to definitely get back into that, getting down there. And I told you we're going to talk to McDuffie, Councilmember McDuffie. But I want to thank y'all for being here on Inside the MFL. I want to thank you, Coach. I want to thank you, Bound, for being a part of this. I want to thank our audience. You've been listening to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Richard Myles Sr. I'll see you next week. Thank you, gentlemen.